Hello there, this is Elise Benin of marketing-mentor.com, and welcome back to the next in my series of marketing blueprints. I'm looking at excellent examples of all different types of marketing tools for creative professionals, and today the batch is excellent examples of email marketing newsletters. I've already covered designers and content strategists and copywriters, and today it's email newsletters of agencies. And you're looking at, this may look familiar, a recent issue of my email marketing newsletter, Quick Tips from Marketing Mentor. And if you're not on that list and you'd like to receive them, you can find them at marketing-mentortips.com. And today I'm going to feature 6 different email marketing newsletters. And for each, I'm going to highlight 3 things: the subject line, the content, and the self-promotion. So let's get started. The first one is Cleveland Design, and they position themselves as a full-service communications firm providing comprehensive brand alignment, interaction, and management solutions. You can tell by the language that they target corporations and, in particular, internal marketing departments. This is their newsletter. It's monthly. You can see it's very short and sweet. There's not a lot of content to it, which is what works for them. More is not necessarily better. Less is not necessarily more. It depends on who you're marketing to and what you want to communicate. But their style is short and sweet. They have original content that they publish, plus this really cool artwork. You can see their October calendar artwork. So let's just cover the 3 elements. First, the subject line is close enough, good enough, plus our latest calendar. So the subject line references this long-time marketing tool, which is a year's worth of monthly calendars that they send out in the real mail with original artwork to the list of clients and prospects that they service. And then every month in their email newsletter, they include a link first to a blog post, which you can see here. The beginning of the blog post is close enough, good enough. They have a paragraph or so, and then you can link to read more. Here, if we click on there, you can see it. You can see there is the corresponding blog post, which elaborates. And then the second part of their content is this calendar artwork. So it's image heavy and text light, but it features an excerpt and targets their target market, which, as I said, is in-house marketing departments. And the only self-promotion is simply the fact that they deliver this message consistently every month. You can follow them on Twitter, you can forward it to a friend, but it's very subtle marketing, and that's what works for them. All right, next up is Bright Umbrella, which is a web agency providing results-driven web solutions for, and here's a kind of an umbrella-related target market type of niche, nonprofits and businesses involved in education, social causes, and innovative entrepreneurship. So let's look at the 3 elements. The name of their newsletter is The Forecast from Bright Umbrella. Get it? And the subject line of this one is it time to update your CMS? The Forecast from Bright Umbrella. And so that's a question style subject line, which I think is very compelling because it triggers people to ask themselves that question. And they're using the jargon CMS that their prospects would understand. That's why they're using it. And also, I want to call your attention to the order of this information. The subject line, the question comes first, and that will change with every newsletter on a monthly basis, and then the forecast from Bright Umbrella. And that will make it easier for people to find in their inbox and distinguish one from the next. If the forecast from Bright Umbrella came first, then they would all look the same. Now let's look at the content. So this is original content, and these 2 ladies are excellent writers, and so they do a lot of blogging, and now their newsletter drives traffic to their blog, and it's targeted at their target market, which is something that we talked about in a podcast interview on their podcast, Click Control Cast, which you can find if you want to listen to that. But I want to highlight the fact that the format is very simple. There are 2 sections to it. That's all. So here, less is definitely more. The first section is a relevant tip, which is basically related to the subject line, their question. And then under the heading of the brainstorm, get it? They have highlights from one of their case studies, which then links to the fleshed out version on their website for those who want to read all the details. So if you have a case study, you can do a little excerpt of it in your newsletter and then drive traffic to the website where people can see the rest and read the rest. And then as for self-promotion, you can see down there, are you ready to invest in the stability and security of your site? Schedule a free 30-minute consultation. And that is the call to action. And notice that again, this is a question that focuses on the end result or the benefit of the work with them, the stability and security of their site. That's what's in it for their readers. Next up is the newsletter from Elements Design. This is an award-winning graphic design and marketing communications firm in Connecticut. Their newsletter is monthly, and it's also all original, what I would call long form content, and it's called Elements Good News. So that is recognizable, and you'll notice, let's look first at the subject line, selfies or business cards, question mark. So that's, again, a question, but kind of intriguing. What are they talking about? And notice also the order of the information. The subject line or content-related subject line comes first, followed by the name of the newsletter. This has a nice balance of image and text, but it is text-heavy because they're providing a lot of tips. So you can see it's much longer, which means it takes longer to do, but it's also meatier. Looking at the content, it shows their insider perspective, and it speaks directly to packaging clients and prospects, which is one of their target markets, many of whom they know through industry trade shows. And in fact, this newsletter is related to a particular trade show that's coming up. See right here, it says Expo East is right around the corner. Will we see you there? We hope so. And then they talk a little bit about it. Here's our favorite part. And then they provide networking tips for exhibitors. So this is just saying, we know where you're going. We hope to see you there. And here's some useful information once you're there. And then they've got a couple other sections. Here's introducing a new employee with a nice friendly photo. Here are images from a recent photo shoot for one of their clients, so recent work. They also feature some of their social media posts in their newsletter, and then they tell you here what those things are from our most popular recent grams. And then when it comes to self-promotion, there are lots of different types of self-promotion here. And that includes all these things I just said, plus keep up with our daily studio happenings by following us on Instagram. Here's all the contact information. And drop us a line. Here's a call to action if you have a project coming up. And one of the things I like here also in the margin is they tell you, here's a sneak peek at some of the projects we're currently working on. So the type of project it is and the kind of company it's for. So it gives you a little overview of the different kinds of work they do. Next up is Rotman Creative, which calls itself the engagement marketing company for associations. So very targeted to associations. And everything they do is about members and membership and member engagement. So it's speaking directly to that market, which is good. The style you'll see here, very different from some of the ones we just looked at. Short and simple, essentially one message per message, and it's sent out monthly. So there's not a lot to it, but it's actually very dense and drives traffic to a lot more relevant information. So let's look at the subject line. What's the outlook for your event? Again, a question. So that's a common theme here. And then they go on to address that question, basically. So this spare format, which includes the header image and then two kind of what's in it for me oriented paragraphs on that topic, which then links to a meaty blog post. So this blog post then goes on to analyze an industry survey that was conducted by a trade association, the trade association for the trade associations, basically. And so it's a perfect combination of original and curated content because they summarize and analyze the survey that the trade association did, and they emphasize the industry challenges that this firm is best suited to address. So I really like that strategy. If the industry that you're targeting is or does research, then you can take that research and distill it or analyze it or repurpose it for your own content. That's a nice technique. As for self-promotion, it's not overt. There's a simple call to action to contact the firm right here. Contact us today to get started. Plus, as I said, links within the content to show how they have helped others and the solutions to common problems. So that's a good one. All right, next up is Brand Joint. This is a firm that specializes in brand strategy and design for cannabis products and services. And it's the sister company to the Peppermill Projects, which is run by Jen Culpepper. The newsletter style has original content and it's sent monthly. And this one is a good example of what I would think of as an announcement email message. So looking at the subject line, you can see Brand Joint featured in the Baltimore Business Journal. And that's what this message is about. And so then in terms of the content, it's essentially completely self-promotional. There's nothing wrong with that from time to time, especially when you have exciting news to share. And this issue, as I said, is dedicated to this newspaper article. So she shows a picture of the article in case you saw it, and a little blurb about how excited they are. And then they essentially also provide the text from the article so you don't have to go find it or link to it and read it somewhere online. And the article is about how she did the branding for herself and this new sister firm, which is exactly what she does for the companies that they're promoting to. And the format is simple, right? It's just one column of text, which you can read or print out, and the image. And in terms of self-promotion, the way I feel is enough said. It's all self-promotion, which again is not a bad thing. And finally, we have the email newsletter by MSLK, which is run by Sherry Ketting and her husband, Mark. And they have a couple different kinds of email newsletters, which I've noticed. So the one I chose is one where they showcase a case study. So it's called Made by MSLK. And this firm is targeted to the beauty industry. And one of their taglines is branding beauty with brains, which I love that alliteration. Their newsletter is always original content and it's sent out pretty regularly, but I can't quite tell if it's monthly. And so again, the subject line Made by MSLK, that's consistent. And then a VV Beauty, that's the client that they're featuring. Nice big hero image at the top. It's an animation with examples of the work. And then the content, I mean, they invest a lot of time and effort into their case studies. So what we're going to get here is a little overview, a summary of the case study, and a little introduction. They talk a little bit about it. They have a testimonial here, and then you can go and learn more about the work there. And I'm going to click on that to open it so you can see what's on the website. And this is what their case studies look like. They're really wonderful. Services offered, Lots of big pictures of the work. But then if you scroll down, some web pages. I like their format here. They describe the challenge, they describe the strategy, they describe the design and the success, the results. Sometimes they even have a video to go along with it. All right, so let's close that. And then in terms of the self-promotion, just this single line, essentially, to read more about the work, but you kind of can't resist. So those are the 6 excellent examples of email marketing newsletters of agencies. I hope you will use these examples that follow my best practices, and I hope it inspires you. And of course, if you need help, you can always take advantage of my free mentoring session or sign up for my quick tips, all of which you can do on marketing-mentor.com. All right, see you soon.